Hello guys. In today's world, everyone wants to reach the top, but only few work hard to achieve it. I'm sitting here with one of the rising entrepreneur and for whom I don't think sky is the limit. His 2-year-old company is also listed in 20 hottest startup of 2015. So on behalf of my team, I want you to introduce you to Karl, the founder of Pricelaser. Hello Karl.
Hi,
Nice meeting you. On behalf of the whole KTS team, we want to congratulate you for your great success.
Thank you.
So, starting with, now we will want to hear about this gentleman in his own word. Could you tell us something about yourself, Karl?
Yes, so where should I start? I started my first company when I was 16 years old. And at that point it was quite difficult because you have to be 18 to run a company. But we found some solutions to that. And from that point I've just been investigating myself, finding out that I'm really an entrepreneur by heart. I live for building stuff, and entrepreneurship is a way for me to reach happiness, I think.
That's very passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's passionate. Okay, so we are here to talk about the Pricelaser. Tell me something about Pricelaser, what it is and how it was formed.
Okay, so it all started a couple of years ago when I was running an e-commerce site. Actually, one of the first e-commerce sites that was selling online furniture. And we realized quite early that consumers were abandoning their shopping carts. This wasn't a big problem at that point because e-commerce was still growing in an early stage. But even though it wasn't a big problem, it actually was a problem. And we wanted to minimize abandoned shopping carts. So I invented some methods to sort that out,
Okay.
which we implemented, and we got some result from that. But the problem kept nagging me. I was really trying to find another way around the problem. Like when you go to school, they teach you that there is one way. There's always one way to do something according to the school and the plan that the school had. And as an entrepreneur, your mind is more set of finding the other ways, the alternative ways. Think outside the box, which is basically what it is, but it's so much more than that. So I started to think about how we could, based on what consumers liked, interact with other stores. So I started to build a second startup at the same time.
Wow.
Which was about wish lists and integrating wish lists with different stores.
Okay.
But the time that I needed to run the e-commerce company was just too much. So I stopped the wish list business and focused on the e-commerce site instead.
So what was your age at that time when you started with the wish list?
I was 23 at that time.
Wow.
So what we did is that in 2013 I got a great gift from my wife, and that was that I was allowed to start working for real again, according to me.
Okay.
Because in 2010 we got our daughter, and she asked me to maybe not work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And most people can understand that.
Exactly.
Even I can understand it. And for sure I wanted to be there as a father as well.
That sounds very encouraging. Actually, when a person starts, it needs passion. You had passion, but then you had responsibilities.
Yeah, but also one really important thing that many people that haven't run their own business is to understand that a business is not a business when you run it on your own. A business is a baby. You really, really take everything on a personal level, and you need to learn how to move away from the baby stage to actually be more business wise and take decisions based on revenue and growth and so on.
if business is your baby, can I say that your idea of starting something like Pricelizer was also like your baby?
Yeah, of course.
So if I say that if you want to share this idea to anyone at that point of time, would have you shared that idea?
The thing is that at that point in time, when I started Pricelizer, my wife said it's okay that you start your entrepreneurship spirit again and release that. And I've been putting it on hold for 3 years.
Okay.
So the feeling that I got was like a sport car at the red light, burning tires, like really, really pushing for it. Okay, I got all these ideas. I built this during this time where I tried to not work too much.
Okay.
I built up all these mind maps about ideas that popped up in my head that I tried to just take notes of and then just let it be for a minute.
Okay.
So in December 2013, I decided something which most people don't decide to do. I decided to run one startup each month for a year. So one new company every month.
Wow.
And that was really an interesting thing. So the concept behind it was that I'm only allowed to put 1 month time into each company. After 1 month, the company must run on its own.
Or if it doesn't, then?
If it doesn't, then it's a failure.
Perfect.
Okay? So what I did was that I started a company, I let it go after 1 month and went on to the next idea because I had a bunch of ideas that was really interesting that I wanted to test.
Every month, new idea you had.
So after 12 months, the idea was to go back to all these 12 companies and investigate which one that gave the best result.
Okay. So according to you, do you think of all the ideas since your age of 16, do you think Pricelizer is the best one? Or do you think some other was the best, but...
I'm quite sure Pricelizer is the best one. Because I will get to that, but there's so many different things into Pricelizer which is quite amazing.
If I talk about before age of 16, can you tell me what motivated you to be an entrepreneur? I mean to say, was it something from inside or you thought you learned it from somewhere?
I think that the beginning of my entrepreneurship is related to me being dyslexic and by finding out that some things are harder and some things are not as hard, and by following your passion you will be able to do so much more with what you got.
Okay.
So I think that entrepreneurship is maybe entrepreneurship is not entrepreneurship. Maybe entrepreneurship is passion.
Okay, so you took entrepreneurship as something else.
Yeah.
You took it as passion. Okay. No, everyone has their way to define something.
Yeah.
So you have your own.
Yeah.
So that's
because
perfect.
for me, work is not work. Work is what everybody else think as a hobby.
Wow. No, that sounds very determined towards your
Yeah.
work. So my next question is, as an entrepreneur, how difficult was it to shape your idea? What is the biggest challenge that you have experienced in your entrepreneurial career?
The most challenging part, I'm sure, is to close down a business.
Oh,
It's really, really difficult because, as I told you, a business for an entrepreneur and for a startup and so on, it's your baby. And to have to make the decision to close down that business is a really, really tough one.
Definitely.
But when you do it based on the right decisions and everything, it's something that you really learn a lot from. Because when you close down the business, you will analyze everything so much more in a different perspective.
Definitely.
And life is about evolving and learning.
Okay, and if we talk about like the biggest challenge in Pricelizer, what would it be?
The biggest challenge in Pricelizer is the same challenge that I had with with one of my past ventures, where building something new that other companies have not done is really, really difficult. But it's not difficult because of inventing like a new thing. What's difficult is to make other people understand what you're doing.
Okay.
So Pricealyzer is a price monitoring solution, and price monitoring solutions is not heard about online.
Never. It was
But-
like price comparing solutions were there,
exactly.
but not price monitoring solutions.
Exactly. But it's so obvious for everybody. When they understand it, it's so obvious. Okay, so you monitor the price. But in 99% of the times, everybody relates that to something they know.
Okay.
So,
Like,
okay, price something, so you do price comparison. No, we don't do price comparison. We do price monitoring.
Okay. No, it was like when I heard of the term like automatic price drop alerts,
Yeah.
it was something very different, and I thought, okay, it's not price comparing. They are telling about something else.
Yeah.
They are generating some new customer segment. So
Yeah.
that was wonderful on your behalf. So my next question is that as your company says it is providing a business to business as well as business to consumer solutions. Can you tell us about consumer solutions and business solutions separately?
Yes, of course. But again, let me just tell you a little bit about the background.
Definitely.
So what we did first was to invent the price monitoring engine. So we spent a lot of time building the engine, the back end, to make sure that the different front end segments that we were to produce would work perfectly.
Okay.
And of course, there are price comparison sites, as everybody knows, but those sites, they work with price feed and the XML data which they get shipped from the different e-commerce stores.
Okay.
What we did was to build an engine that don't need the in data, that actually goes out and gather the data on its own.
Okay.
So we built an engine that, based on what your interests are, goes to that store, check the price without misplacing data and so on,
Okay.
and then alert you, of course, when the price goes down. So that is the basics behind it. And for this, we built two different front ends, or there's actually a bunch of front ends, but two main front ends. The first one is a consumer front end,
Okay.
and the consumer front end is a browser extension, so that whenever you find something online, you just click on the Pricealyzer button, and we then identify all the data that we need, like product name, product price, price details like currency and so on,
Okay.
and set that up in your monitoring profile. So we create a wish list for you, so to say, but you can of course categorize that and everything within the web app.
Okay.
So the web app is a second front end for the consumer.
Okay. Okay. Something like, I will say, card charging.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So that's good. And on the basis of the front end, you decided that this is the consumer listing and this is the business listing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the business listing is a different tool,
Okay.
which we named Revelizer.
Okay. This is, I have heard, as a beta version.
Yeah, actually the Revelizer solution is a public version,
Okay.
but the consumer solution we put the beta stamp on because it's something that we will work continuously on. Just like when Gmail was launched, they had the beta stamp for a couple of years,
Yes.
even though everything worked perfectly, because they wanted to be able to change things in their own speed.
Okay. So,
So the Revelizer solution is an integration to the e-commerce site.
Okay.
So if you run an e-commerce site, you can integrate the Revelizer solution into your platform with just a simple installation and a plugin.
something like Revelizer engine.
Yeah, the engine is actually on our server side,
Okay.
so it's a
Platform,
SaaS
something like that. Okay.
solution as a service, and what you do is that you integrate the plugin, and we then enable you to scan through all your existing carts and also to monitor the consumer behavior on your website.
Okay.
And whenever someone is about to leave a cart or when they actually leave a cart, we will alert the consumer saying, okay, we see that you found some products of interest, but you decided not to buy them. Would you like us to let you know when the price goes down on these items?
Wow, so it's like if someone is leaving the shop because the price is high, you will hold them.
Yes.
You will hold them so that they can come afterwards and see, okay, the price is low, now I can buy that.
Yes.
So it's like from the perspective of a shopkeeper, you are holding the customers.
Yes, exactly. But we're not holding the customers based on the store's terms.
Yeah.
We're holding the customer based on the customer's terms.
So that's why they are much more attracted towards this solution.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
Because according to research, today's about 70% of all carts is abandoned prior to checkout.
Okay.
And from those 70%, there's 40% that abandon their shopping carts only because of pricing.
Okay.
So it's a large segment that we will enable the e-commerce site to attract back.
When did you start with the price laser? Was your customer segment that large, or you started with something else and now you're at some different place?
Our customer segment is actually even larger. And we're actually working on one of the products which will be launched soon, which is a mobile app that enables consumers to shop in a way smarter ways than can be found online today.
Perfect. So if I say, how well do you know about your customers and how do you analyze the customer needs, and do they change with time, and are you adapting with that? So what would you say?
So our customers is the e-commerce sites.
Okay.
Of course, the e-commerce sites do change, but they change with the understanding that we provide to them. So we actually try to educate our customers. We try to educate everyone about what actual human being are interested in. Because how e-commerce sites are built up today, they're built up about some different type of logics. It's not the normal logics. Like, okay, for example, you check you decide not to buy this shopping cart for some reason. According to research, 40% abandon the shopping carts because of the price. Okay, we know that. But there's also a bunch of people that abandon the shopping carts because they have to go out with a dog or anything else. Okay. So only to have the price monitoring solution maybe is not the entire solution to the problem. Okay. So we built in some other solutions to this as well, without interfering with your customer relationship and to increase your customer lifetime value and so on.
Perfect. I mean to say, you are very specific to every answer. I can see that. So okay, we have heard that your next step is towards expansion of Pricelizer on an international scale. Can you tell us how will you try to take this Swedish startup to international market?
We see our market as internet. That is our market. Okay. But to begin with, we have decided to focus on the market where the websites are in English. Okay. So we start with of course Sweden as a base market because that's where we're placed. But as we grow, we focus on the English-speaking websites and customers because it's an easy way to expand.
It's globalizing.
Yeah, it's globalizing.
We would love it in Asia also.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Definitely. So, tell me that what is the best thing about entrepreneurship and your advice to rising entrepreneurs?
The best thing is that you get to challenge yourself. Okay. I think that most people have not really challenged themselves. They get into different situations, like, okay, I'm looking for a job, and then you send out your resume to different companies, you try to select the job that you're interested in, and then you're placed into this situation where they say you should do this and that. Okay. That's not really challenging yourself. So as an entrepreneur, You get to learn about what powers you have, what you can achieve, but also you get to learn what things you maybe should not do.
Definitely.
And that is one thing that is really, really important for an entrepreneur, to learn about your strengths and your weaknesses.
Okay, so it's like you have worked on something very unique, changing the perspective of the customer of like not comparing the prices but monitoring the prices. So what if in future some market arises with same kind of application or same kind of platform? So how will you tackle that situation?
The thing is that we put down about 38,000 development hours, so we did some work.
Okay.
But of course, when we see a competitor, they will most probably have copied what we've done in terms of what they think we have done.
Okay.
But in the back end, they have no idea about
What
what we actually have produced.
So
So I'm not so worried about that. But of course, if there's a large player, like for example, if Google were to be releasing a similar product,
okay.
they would have much more possibility to push out marketing.
Yeah.
And by doing that, they can take parts of the customer segment. But again, we are much faster, we are much more innovative in our solutions than any large-scale company ever can be. So I think that is the solution to the problem. We need to stay creative and learn from the consumer behaviors and the consumer expectations and so on.
So you are trying to deal with the needs of the people in a very creative manner each and every single day.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Anyways, these were my questions, and it was a pleasant meeting with you, because at this point of time we need someone to teach us from the practical perspective. We can ask someone from anyone, like who can tell us about what is going on, but someone as new as you are, like 2013, and you are here 2 years, not even 2 years, and then also you have reached such a good height and you are just pushing yourself day and day, and then you are creating yourself. So we need some examples like this. Thank you very much for giving your time, and we wish you a very good luck for your future.
Same to you.
Thank you.